The bill that I want you to just be aware of. We did an interview on Ring of Fire about this, and maybe next week for the vacation week, or maybe we'll play this interview, just so that people can hear this a little bit more in depth. But there are two bills that ultimately will be reconciled as it comes through the House and the Senate. The Senate bill is called SESTA, Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act. The House bill is called FOSTA, Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, both of which sound like a good idea. They're structured slightly different, but they SESTA would amend the Communications Decency Act, and FOSTA would affect the Mann Act in terms of cross-state prostitution. The idea is that you want to fight sex trafficking. People's perception of what sex trafficking is generally, I should say, too narrow. People perceive it as you've got underage women or girls essentially brought in from like a Eastern European country and, I don't know, housed in some type of dormitory, I guess. That's part of it, but it is a far broader problem where you have people who are, it can be women who have no means of supporting their children. It can mean people who come into a town that, or maybe former runaways, or, I mean, there's a whole host of situations. Women who are abused. And the theory here is we're going to shut down the means in which these sex traffickers are reaching their clientele. Ostensibly, I guess the traffickers, not the traffickees, are reaching the clientele for the traffickees. And thereby shutting down websites, shutting down publications. And the intent may be good, but the experts on this and the people who work in the sex industry will tell you and have tell you and are trying to tell people this is a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake because all you're shutting down the marketing apparatus. It's not going to stop the sex trafficking. They're just going to find a different way of doing it. But what you're doing inadvertently is shutting down the means in which people who help people who are being sex trafficked locate them and determine what their situation is. That is the very sort of like slug line version. We're going to play an interview. We will play that interview over the next week and a half or so.
Yeah. It also takes away tools that sex workers use to keep themselves safe.
In terms of being able to track,
screen clients,
right,
and talk to each other online and whatnot.
So this is just one of those things where it's like it may be effective in making people think that there's no sex trafficking going on, but in fact, what it does is it really it more than likely increases the sex trafficking and makes it much harder for investigators and advocates to help. So I just wanted to put that on your radar because, it's going to be another one of these sort of like bipartisan bills that are going to move through that everybody's very proud of themselves for getting through, but of course is a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah, I saw a lot of signs about it at the IWS a few weeks ago. This is something people are really upset about right now. A lot of
and of course
activists.
nobody, if you're not a butt of a joke in the context of a Donald Trump saga, nobody cares about sex workers, and so they don't necessarily have an opportunity to provide the benefit of their experience in a when debating a bill like this. So, all right.